A local businessman who is the son of a legendary hero and martial arts expert devises an evil plan to bait other kung fu men into fights so that he may test his skill. Will his wicked plan be the end for several martial masters, or has his time run out as he faces the Magnificent Ruffians? Magnificent Ruffians, aka The Destroyers, is a 1979 Shaw Brothers film featuring the awesome-tacular talents of Chang Che and the Venoms. This was the fourth film that director Che has made that year and was the seventh of 19 movies that the titular Venoms mob had done together, thus fortifying their time together as a dynasty in martial arts cinema. The movie features some of your typical Shaw Brothers tropes, such as violent deaths, betrayals, and comedic bits splashed around here and there. Quite often, the quintet of Philip Kwok, Lo Mang, Sun Xiang, Lu Feng, and Chang Shang do the heavy lifting while bringing one of the lesser-known Venoms along for the ride. This time, they bring actor and weapons expert Wang Li into the fray. The story starts, curiously, with the villain played by, you guessed it, Lu Feng. Lu Feng plays Master Yun, a commerce tycoon and a son of a renowned swordsman who owns nearly every business in town. With the industrialization of transport through ships and trains, there isn't a need to hire kung fu experts for transportation protection anymore. With the escort service waning, there are fewer and fewer martial artists in town, and this leaves Master Yun without anyone to play with. Master Yun decides to use his wealth and influence to lure remaining starving artists into his home so that he may challenge them to a duel. The problem is, it's a duel to the death, unbeknownst to the naive martial artists who are dumb enough to fall into his trap. After Master Yun does away with 6 or 7 warriors, it's time for him to set his sights on the lone business that will not sell to him, giving him a true monopoly in town. The business that Master Yun covets belongs to the widow, Mrs. Quan, her daughter, and her strong brass son, played by Lo Mang, who is adamant about not selling their escort service. As to appear not to strong-arm the Quans, Master Yun comes up with a plan. It is here that we meet Yang Chufang, Feng, Chang, and Ah Fei, all former escorts that are now unemployed due to the vanishing of jobs and the emergence of foreign guns making kung fu obsolete. Master Yun befriends our heroes, who up until this point had been pawning valuables and doing their version of dine and bash to get money for food. The evil Yun bedazzles our young friends with money, valuables, and good food in an effort to make them loyal to him. He then has one of his servants tell the former escorts that Quan has offended him in hopes that they will attack the young business owner. What Master Yun didn't foretell is that his new lackeys have befriended Quan, and they have developed a bond over their mutual love of Kung Fu! It seems now would be a good time to explain everyone's fighting style and choice of weapons. Master Yun fights with a Guangdao, or golden sword. He uses the support the sun technique. Kwang fights barehanded and uses a form of Manus open-hand boxing. Feng also fights barehanded, but is a master of a kicking technique. Yang Chufang fights with a bow staff and uses a Shaolin stick fighting method. Cheng uses a short axe. And Ah Fei uses the double broadswords. And now, back to our regularly scheduled program. As the boys are getting acquainted with one another, they decide to meet every day at a mutually agreed upon location to have friendly one-on-one matches with Quan, since he doesn't think that any of them are his match. Master Yun, getting word of these friendly matches, has Yan Chufang's staff switch with an identical one that has been packed with explosives. When Kwang and Yan get into their battle, all hell breaks loose. The rest of the film is action-packed with martial arts goodness as the principals choose sides to seek answers and retribution from the tragedies that arise. Magnificent Ruffians is a good film that is multi-layered in its storytelling. It's a film that centers poverty and unemployment as the contrasting association of wealth and opportunity. It's a film that illustrates how the advancement of technology can harm the physical laborer, masterfully told under the veil of martial arts madness, and I'm here for it, so let's talk about it. The pros. As always, these films are wonderfully cast. What comes across in this film is how much the main characters seem to genuinely like each other, so that's a plus in my book. One of the things that Chang-Chi has been accused of is making straight, serious films devoid of any humor. No, not this one. The tone of this movie is actually pretty fun for the first 2/3 of the film, and I think it's a pleasant surprise. The fight choreography is good. I think the Venom's mob are at their best when they're wielding their weapons of destruction, whether they be staffs or swords, hands or feet. Lastly, I think the plot is pretty good. Though the premise seems simple enough, that a kung fu master is killing his sparring partners, it's a bit more complex than that, and the script does a good job of delineating that complication. The cons. Although I like Lu Feng as a performer, I thought the villain took the long road to eliminating his competition, Quan. Yes, I understand that he wanted to use proxies to destroy his opposition so that it will appear that he had nothing to do with it, but it seems he could have eliminated Quan by simply challenging him to a private match. I mean, he has the advantage since Quan doesn't fight with a weapon, and Master Yun isn't exactly known for fighting fair. Second, I can see how the tonal shifts in the movie might be off-putting to some. The movie spends a great deal of time establishing the funny before a sudden change happens that takes us on a downward spiral of despair. No spoilers. Lastly, there are 2 deaths that happen in this movie that are totally unnecessary and threw me off a bit. Again, no spoilers, but I think this speaks to how the director famously regards certain groups of people. Overall, I think that Magnificent Ruffians, aka The Destroyers, is a good film, but not one I would consider in the upper echelon of Venom's mob movies. It has a good story and underlying theme that I think will appeal to the everyman or woman. With good fighting choreography, good humor, and a strong cast, I'd still highly recommend it. So I'm giving it 8 kicks. Well, that's all for now. Tell us how you feel about Magnificent Ruffians. Comment below and let us know. And don't forget to hit that like and notification bell for more content. Until next time, this is OG Ant signing off. Peace.